नमस्कार, न्यूज टकमा तपाईलाई स्वागत छ। मेरो नाम रुपेश श्रेष्ठ। भदौ 23 र 24 को आन्दोलनपछि अन्तरिम सरकार गठन भइरहँदा यो परिघटनालाई नेपालका दुई छिमेकी राष्ट्र मात्र नभएर संसारभरबाट नजिकबाट नियाल्ने प्रयास भइरहेको छ। हुन त नेपालको आन्तरिक राजनीतिलाई फरक फरक दृष्टिले नेपालका छिमेकी देशहरूले हेर्ने गरेका छन्। नेपालका आन्तरिक बहसहरूमा कतै न कतै छिमेकी देशहरूको रुचि वा नेपालको राजनीतिमा उनीहरूको हस्तक्षेप लगायतका विषयमा पनि छलफल नहुने होइन। तर नेपालको राजनीति, नेपालको सरकार, नेपालको परिस्थिति स्थिर रहनुपर्छ र नेपालको राजनीतिमा, नेपालको व्यवस्थामा, नेपालको आफ्नै सार्वभौमिक निर्णयहरूलाई हामी सम्मान गर्दछौं भन्ने प्रतिबद्धताहरू हाम्रा छिमेकी देशहरूबाट नआउने होइन। यो आन्दोलनपछि नयाँ अन्तरिम सरकार गठन भइसकेपछि, निर्वाचनको मिति तय भइसकेपछि यो परिघटनालाई हाम्रा छिमेकी देशहरूले कसरी हेरिरहेका छन्? मूलतः उत्तरी छिमेकी चीनले यसलाई कसरी बुझिरहेको छ? नागरिक समाज, चीनको नागरिक समाज, बौद्धिक वर्ग, एकाडेमियाले नेपालको यो राजनीतिक संक्रमणलाई कुन अर्थमा अर्थ्याउँछ? आज हामी यसै विषयमा कुराकानी गर्दैछौँ। आज हामीसँग डाक्टर गाओ लियाङ हुनुहुन्छ, जो चीनबाट नेपालमा पटक पटक भ्रमण गर्नुहुन्छ, नेपालको राजनीतिका बारेमा लेखी पनि रहनुहुन्छ, बहस छलफलमा सहभागी पनि भइरहनुहुन्छ। डाक्टर गाओ लियाङ नेपालमै रहेर नेपालको तराईमा सुशासनको अवस्था के छ भन्ने बारेमा पीएचडी समेत गरेका व्यक्तित्व हुनुहुन्छ। डाक्टर लियाङ, नि हाओ।
Namaste.
Namaste. Did I say properly? Ni hao?
Yes, you do. Very well. Thank you very much for inviting me to your show.
Thank you so much for being with us. I opened this show in Nepali language, but I'll be talking to you in English. This
Sure.
will be comfortable for you.
I think so. I'll try my best.
So, let me introduce you once again. You have been serving as a Vice Director at the Nepal Study Center, which is part of the Institute of South Asian Studies at Sichuan University, China.
Yes.
You hold a doctoral degree, PhD,
Yes.
in management.
Yes.
And you have been writing on Nepal issues, geopolitical issues of South Asia, and you are keen to the society and economy of Nepal.
Yes. Actually, I have been traveling back and forth between China and Nepal since 2010. It's almost 1.5 decades. And in this process, I have been following Nepali domestic issues and bilateral relations between our two countries very closely. So I get this privilege to sometimes write on Nepali medias to comment the current developments. Yeah.
So you have been traveling to Nepal frequently, and you have been traveling across Nepal.
Yeah, somehow I have been traveling back and forth, I think more than 40 times into Nepal. So I am very lucky that, but still I'm trying to get a deeper understanding of this country. So thank you again for inviting me here to let me share some of my understandings and observations of this country and of the bilateral relations and some important issues.
It's my pleasure to talk to you. So, what makes you interested on especially the governance of Tarai region of Nepal?
Well, I used to work in Tibet. In our political words, we now call it Xizang. So while I was working there, it was, during the time Nepal is still struggling with the constitution making process. So in that process, I came to learn that this Madhesh issue and these grievances from people who's living in Tarai region was one of the core issues you were encountering during that process. So that was the beginning of my interest of this issue. Then I get to know these literatures and these discussions, and then after two constitutional assembly, and then finally the new constitution was announced in 2015, then more issues arose because of the new constitution. So I after 2014, I returned to Sichuan to my university to continue my study there. So I took this issue as one of my research focus. So that is how I come to here.
Mm-hmm. So do you know that the another neighboring country of Nepal, that is India,
yes,
is so cautious about Chinese scholars or Chinese diplomats being interested on the bordering regions of Nepal, especially Madheis?
Yeah, we understand. Actually, everybody knows that Nepal and India, you have very special relation. This roti-beti relations, especially regarding the Tarai region. Yes, we understand these sentiments from the Indian side, but I mean, I'm this kind of academic research should not be somehow analyzed from the political or even geopolitical angles. So to learn Nepal, to understand Nepal, I think ultimately it will be good for the bilateral relations, because for the Chinese people, for many of the Chinese people, I have to tell you that even though we are very much close neighbor, but to many of the Chinese people, we are very much ignorant of what is really Nepal looks like. Some of my friends, they naturally think that Nepal is a Buddhist country, although they know that Nepal is the birthplace of Gautam Buddha. So they naturally believe that Nepal is actually still a Buddhist country, but we know that this is not true. So this kind of misunderstanding or even this ignorance of the knowledge of Nepal is, I mean, among the Chinese people is quite normal. So for people like me, who has this privilege to come to travel in Nepal, I think it's our duty to introduce to the Chinese people what a real Nepal looks like.
Yeah, exactly. As you said, when you see, yes, it is the birthplace of Gautam Buddha, but still it's a secular country, and we have people from different religions and castes and creeds. We respect all kinds of religion, but a state has no religion at all.
Yes.
As our constitutions
yes, I fully understand
have declared.
That.
So your study does not align with any political thought process?
Yeah, of course, because for any country, of course, including China, this academic research is totally independent and objective. So there should not be any political intention or agenda behind the academic research.
Let's come to the present.
Sure.
We went through a huge protest on September 8th and 9th, and that landed to a political transition.
Yes.
We have an interim government right now in Nepal since 2.5 months now, almost 3 months now. So we are targeting an election in March. How do you see, as an academician who belongs to China, how do you see the political transition going on in Nepal right now?
Yeah, I think you must have read some of my latest commentaries on Nepalese media.
You have been writing on Kathmandu Post.
Yes, I have shared some of my observations. Actually, this incident, this movement, let's call it a movement, has been closely observed from the Chinese side, not only from the government side, but also from the academia circle. People like me, we have in China we have a big circle of South Asian scholars who is looking after all these issues. So we believe that this thing, I mean, this latest movement is the somehow the outcome of the long-standing, long-existing social and economic and even political agreements that existing in this country for a long time. So now it seems that different political forces in this country slowly, gradually come into the consensus that you are going to have one election to solve the recent, let's call it instability or even, uncertainties. So basically, from the Chinese side, we are very much expecting that these uncertainties will somehow end after the election is successfully held in next March, because as I shared in some of my articles, this kind of instability or even uncertainties is serving no good for any side, not only for this country but also for the neighboring countries and the international development partners. So in a way, we really expect and we really, wish this will be successfully solved.
Is this an observation of the academia only or the state of China?
See, I think they are. It's not necessary to divide these two sides. I mean, on this issue, I think the academia and the Chinese state, we are on the same page. Actually, even for people like me, I have been traveling so frequently and so deeply, connected to Nepal, and I have a deep affection to this country and to its people. So not only from an academic perspective, even as a normal, friend of a normal Chinese friend of Nepal, we sincerely wish that this kind of uncertainty will end soon.
Do you see this protest, or let's say movement, as you called movement, how usual is this moment that happened in Nepal?
I'm not going to say it's usual, because nobody had expected this to be happen. Even before, like I was here in Nepal in August, so only after 2 weeks after I left this country and went back to China, this incident happened. So what I'm trying to express from some of my analysis that these things, they happen because of these deep-rooted social and economic issues. But the outburst of these things is unprecedented. Nobody had expected. Yeah.
In one of your recent articles on the Kathmandu Post, you described the Gen Z movement as volatile and damaging.
Yeah, because if you consider, nobody can deny that there has been damages and even, loss of lives in this movement, in this incident. Nobody can deny these damages. So from that sense, yes, it's a lot of damages has been done in this.
But still, do you also acknowledge its role as a democratic accountability force?
I mean, Nepal is a democratic country, so you have a democratic political system. So each force has its rights to, to express their demands, including this Gen Z group of people. So I don't see any, inappropriate. I mean, this is totally natural that these things happening in this country. So if you consider if it's accountability kind of thing, yeah, because the demands of these youth at the center of this movement is anti-corruption and good governance. This is a very natural and easy to understand, and I think this is very much acceptable and easy to understand.
In Nepal, in talks and discussions in public arena, people believe on some kind of conspiracies where people also believe, some of the people also believe that there are some kind of infiltration happened in Gen Z movement from the neighboring countries. I can't call it from China, or I can't call it from Europe or India. What do you see?
Yeah, I have also read many of these, news reports, or even some of our, friends is talking about such kind of conspiracies. But personally, I don't buy such conspiracies, because in such scale of movement, I think it will be very difficult for such kind of involvement.
There were some kind of forces identified in the streets of Kathmandu in that particular movement in September, identified as maybe or maybe not. They are connected to the TOB. That's, if I'm not wrong, Tibetan origin blood.
I have also noticed that this kind of information on Nepalese medias or even social medias. First of all, like I just mentioned, China, stays distance from the internal affairs of Nepal. So China is not playing any role in such, things. Second is that, as far as I am informed, that these issues have already been, properly handled by the Nepalese government. So, so in that case, we don't have more, concerns. And another thing I want to bring here is that if you look back in the 75 years, sorry, 75 years of Nepal-China bilateral relations, the the Nepalese governments, no matter it's in King's time or in Republican time or even now, all the governments, no matter which political force is behind them, they have gradually maintained their commitments on the One China principle, and also they are
Nepal's government, not only the state
Yeah.
mechanisms, not only the governments, also the people.
Yes,
I
I mean,
clear about One China policy of Nepal,
Yes.
and we
Yes.
respect the interest of China. They have the issues of security concerns. We are aware about that, but still there are questions from the public side.
Yes, of course, because the issue, you cannot ignore it. It always there. You have a group of the exile Tibetans living in your country, and what makes China more concerned is that this is never, this issue is never an issue only between China and Nepal, because behind this issue, there are external forces. Let's say, including some of your Western, some of the Western countries who is behind the issues and supporting some of these activities. So that makes China very much concerned, and I believe that even the Nepalese government are also under some sort of pressure when it comes to the well management of this issue. So that if you are talking about the concerns of China, I think this would be one of the concerns China may have. But still, like I said, we have the confidence, and we have the reasons to have confidence that even if this in this difficult situation, we have the confidence in Nepalese government that they will properly handle this issue and respect Chinese interests.
How is Chinese establishment confident about that? Because we have a civil government right now, and not any political forces are not in the government, and China have always believed in the political forces, or isn't that so?
No, it's not like only believed in political forces. If you look back into the history of our bilateral relations, even if it was during the King's time, China worked very well with the monarchy government. So, and as I just mentioned, and you also agreed with me, that there is already this kind of consensus among Nepalese people and among different forces of Nepalese political forces. So in that case, we have this kind of confidence that even if it's the, like you said, a civil government, interim government, they, I believe that they are fully conscious of what China is concerning with.
So how do you see the government of Nepal, the interim government of Nepal, communicating with its counterparts of our neighbors, China and India, regarding the changes that happened in Nepal in these months?
Yeah, I mean, For the Chinese side, the official status is very clear that we would respect any choices made by the Nepalese people, including this time. So for the interim government, I believe that Chinese side is working very smoothly with them. If I'm an observer, so I also following these developments and information. As far as I am concerned, I'm seeing the Chinese ambassador and are frequently interacting with the ministers and even the prime minister of the interim government. So I believe this diplomatic channel and from different levels, they are working properly, and China also has initiative to provide help and assistance to Nepal to facilitate the successful election.
So you say China respects Nepal's autonomous choices, even the counterparts of Nepal government. How do you reconcile that with Beijing's frequent political messaging to Kathmandu and diplomatic signaling on Tibet issues and other things?
Yeah. Let me clarify. One thing is that non-interference. I don't believe that it necessarily means remain silent, remain totally silent. I mean, because of these concerns, considering that China and Nepal have been so deeply engaged that Nepal has its legitimate interests in China, and China also has its legitimate interests in Nepal. So considering all these deep engagements, it's very natural that China, sending its, expressing its concerns and expressing its, some good wishes or even. So in that case, I do not believe this kind of, expression is something like, a political signal, or even if it's a signal, the decision-making rights are still, in the hands of Nepalese people.
Yes, when you argue that China cannot remain mum on Nepal's political situations, are you acknowledging an oversight role?
It's not an oversight role, I believe. It's by sending such signals, by expressing their concerns, is like I just said, it's a very natural kind of expression. So I don't believe.
But the countries like Nepal, the state mechanisms and the diplomacy, we are comparatively weaker than India or China or Europe or West. How can Nepal ensure autonomy while neighbors expect some kind of influence?
I mean, the size or even the strength of any country is not the reason to treat other countries unequally. I mean, China treats any of its neighbor and any other countries equally, no matter the size or the national strength of the country. So for Nepal, China totally treats it as an equal partner. So in that case, we respect its autonomy and its independence, its sovereignty equally as China respects other countries.
But the establishment of China has always been looking for some kind of pro-China forces in Nepal.
No, I don't believe that China is looking for any pro-China kind of establishment in Nepal, because Nepal is a democratic country. You have different political forces, so nobody can guarantee one force will rule forever. So what China believes is stability and neutrality. That means Nepal has been, exercise this kind of balanced diplomacy. So what China believes is that if any, political force that can bring stability and somehow adhere to the neutrality of its foreign diplomacy, that's in accordance with Chinese interests.
But some of the scholars from China or the scholars from Nepal as well have been writing or creating that narrative that China has always been looking for an alternative force except government so that they can communicate and want the communist forces, left forces, to become one or be united so that China can push its influence to the government.
Yeah, I can understand that this kind of concerns, this kind of analysis from some of the analysts. But to my understanding, and this is not an era of ideology kind of a competition, because even this similarity of ideology between Chinese, the Communist Party of China, and the left forces of Nepal, this is not a reason or not a sufficient reason for China to support any specific force in Nepal, or even to influence the bilateral China's foreign strategies toward Nepal. Because if you look at the Chinese policies toward Nepal, you will easily find that China is actually equally trying to engage with different forces equally. Even some of the minority forces, or even the less some forces we call conservative forces. We even are engaging with them.
So you don't buy that idea?
I don't buy that.
That China wants one communist force that is bigger in size.
That's totally not true.
And influential.
It's not going to work. Even if the left forces once was allied, and they won that election back in 2017, but turns out it didn't work well. I mean, there has been many domestic reasons for that collapse of the left alliance.
So, but are you signaling that that unification that happened some 5-6 years ago, that happened with the interest of China?
No, I'm not saying like that. I mean, that kind of even that kind of alliance didn't work out well. So, what would be the purpose of China trying to bring up such an reunification or this kind of alliance? So it's meaningless, because it won't work in a country so diversified politically in Nepal. So why bother working in that way?
When we talk about the stability, political stability in Nepal, what is your suggestion, not China? What is your suggestion to the political forces of Nepal and the government of Nepal?
Well, I'm just a scholar. I'm not a politician, so I just give some
so
of
I can
my
say that you are not
understanding.
representing the Chinese government or diplomatic agency of China.
Of course.
As a scholar,
yes.
What would be your suggestion?
See, I have been traveling in this country since 2010. Back then, you were still, the different forces were still struggling to make a new constitution. Now it's already 15 years, and already 10 years after the new constitution has been introduced to the country. So still the different forces are somehow frustrated because of the many issues that we had been discussing. What I'm thinking is that there should be some sort of consensus, a more broader consensus between different forces. That is the interest of the country. I'm not trying to lecture in anyone. It's just my understanding.
It's comfortable.
Yeah, I'm not trying to lecture in anyone. I believe that there should be some sort of more gradual national consensus regarding like what the recent Jinji movement had initiated, of good governance, of anti-corruption, or some other issues. So there should be some more fundamental consensus among different forces. I believe that all these political forces, they disagree with each other with many issues, but fundamentally speaking, in the end, I think all forces want this country to be stable and bring prosperity to the country. I know so many Nepali friends in my 15 years of trip in this country, and in my university we have Nepali students. Even I teach them, so I can feel that people's aspirations for a better future, for a better life in his country. But see, the reality is somehow not so satisfying.
Yeah.
So in that case, I believe that we are on the same page. That me as a friend of Nepal, I wish this country to achieve stability, to achieve prosperity, to achieve more overall development. And I believe this kind of sentiment also is shared by all the Lebanese people. So in that case, based on that context, all the political forces from different background, it's better for them, to really think of the future of the country.
Before I move to another section of the interview, I would like you to express your views on what your take on the Gen Z movement, not only in Nepal, that has happened in different regions of South Asia, and similar kind of movements were seen in the Europe and other countries. How do dissect or differentiate the movements that happen in another part of the world, let's say Bangladesh or let's say Sri Lanka and Nepal?
Yes, I have also been. We have also been observing this kind of incidents in other countries as well, especially like in Bangladesh. Actually, I had one trip in Bangladesh this July, and then after 2 months, there is this incident in Nepal. I'm not. I mean, I'm not. I don't want to make a comparison of the reasons behind. Let's see the grievances of the youth, because I have been interacting with many of the Nepalese students in China, and I work in a university. We also the Chinese youth, to some extent, they share some of the anxieties or even frustrations, considering their career, their employment, their future, and also in the gradual context of the global uncertainties in this era. So in that case, I believe that all the youth of these countries, they share some many similarities, and also considering the environment they have been brought up. So these things are, I mean, the fundamental reasons for such movements are similar. But again, these countries, like my country and your country, we have different political system, which is trying to address such issues, and that's the difference. So that's why the incidents happened in different countries are somehow tackled or even resolved through different methods.
I went through some of your articles. You have been publishing your articles on the Kathmandu Post. Yes. Also, you are writing on Rising Nepal. I find quite impressive that you are keen on the bilateral relations between Nepal and China, and yes, also the connectivity and economic prosperity that we can share with each other.
Yes.
You know that Nepal inevitably needs China for economical revival.
Yeah.
How do you justify that inevitability when diversification of local industry development and largely India's market access are also our option?
When I first get my interest to the research of Nepal, I learned this term that Nepal is a yam between two giant boulders.
Oh, yeah.
So to some extent this is true, but to some extent this is not true. Let me give you one reason. Because in China, especially in our circle, in our South Asian Studies circle, we strongly believe that Nepal is not a buffer state. We believe that it could be turned into a bridge between China and India, or even the whole South Asia, to the western part of Asia. So in that case, connectivity is important. And why I say inevitable? Because we all understand that Nepal needs, a political independence and also economic, sustainability. So how to achieve that? Because you are located in such a geographic position, there's only two options. One is your southern neighbor, and one is us, the northern neighbor. So I have been traveling quite a lot in the Tibet side of China. See, the infrastructures there have already been upgraded many times because I have been traveling that side in 2010, 2011. Back then, the road conditions are already better. With all due respect, are much better than the Nepalese side. And after 1.5 decades, it has been, upgraded twice. And to my disappointment, on the Nepalese side, it's still like not much improvement. So if these infrastructures of the Chinese side could be somehow connected to the Nepalese side, imagine the potential. I have been I'm not an economist, but I have been went through the trade digits of China and Nepal and India. See, the China-Nepal trade amount is only $2 billion annually.
Yeah.
But considering your trade digits to the southern neighbor, that's more than 20 or even 30 times bigger than the than what you have with the Chinese side.
Yes.
So the potential is high, very high. So, and also China now has these Belt and Road Initiative agreements with Nepal, which I believe, because I have observing this since 2017. After the sign of this agreement, a lot of things has happened. Even if you consider it from the people to people, exchanges, the investment, and other different aspects. So I see, I'm seeing great potential in this aspect, and I believe this is unavoidable for Nepal to reach out to China.
Another question of concern is BRI projects in Nepal that have been repeatedly stalled due to financing and debt risk concerns and bureaucratic opacity. How serious is Chinese establishment about the concerns of Nepal?
Let me first clarify one thing is that there has been a lot of discussion, because I'm closely following this. There has been a lot of discussions regarding the debt issue, like you mentioned, in Nepal, regarding Chinese BRI projects. So I have to say that many of these discussions are somehow
disoriented,
based on not facts, based on some of the even intentional disinformation and misinformations. But this is another question. That is one thing, and another thing is that China's commitment and sincerity regarding the cooperation under BRI with Nepal is always sincere, very much sincere, and very much serious. Because if you look at, because Nepal, we have like around 1,500 kilometers of border. So most of this border is bordering with the China's Tibet autonomous region. So if you get the chance to travel to the Tibet side, you would find out that all the infrastructures, all the preparations, all the physical infrastructures, and also policy infrastructures, everything has been there already. And the local government of Tibet side is very much eager to broaden this connectivity and cooperation with the Nepalese side. Even in this July, I was traveling in Tibet side. There's a highway, there's a railway, and 2 more new railway lines is under construction. So in the future, whole Tibet side will be interconnected by railway networks. And many of the lines is very much close to the China-Nepal border. So imagine one scenario that in the future, if things go smoothly, these railway lines could be stretched to the Nepalese border. That will be, like I said in one of my articles, it will be a game changer of China-Nepal connectivity.
Yes, but Nepal is not eager not so interested on whatever China has been proposing in last 5-10 years. Even in last visit of our Prime Minister to China, there was some kind of agreement, but that was not largely accepted or welcomed in Nepal.
Yeah, I know that behind this, there's a lot of discussions, giving it be geopolitical consideration or like financial considerations. Again, like I just said, this debt issue is something that could be resolved, and also if some debt that could be generating revenues, or that you can, because this is not a thing of one generation. This kind of things will benefit not only our generation, the future generations, our sons' son, our grandsons' sons, grandsons' grandsons. So that will be something for the future generations. So let's be more, let's decide and let's, make decisions for a longer term of the, for a longer term with longer visions.
Let me probe a hypothetical question. If Nepal's economy becomes heavily linked with China,
yes,
how will China react if Nepal pursues democratic values or global alignments that Beijing disagrees with?
Since you are placing this question hypothetically, I will answer hypothetically. See, if Nepal could achieve this, economic strength, like you said, in that case, what would be the purpose of pursuing such kind of alignment that Beijing doesn't like? If Nepal is becoming that economically strong, I believe there would be even stronger connections with Beijing, with China. So in that case, Nepal is more economically, linked with China. So what would be the interest? What would be the good of doing such, of pursuing such a?
I can sense your answer.
Yeah.
Anything you have to say to the public of Nepal, the citizens of Nepal?
I don't have any specific things to say. I only have good wishes to Nepalese people, because in the past 15 years of all my travelings in Nepal, all the people I came across with were so friendly and so helpful to me. So I only have best wishes to our Nepalese friends and best wishes to this country.
Thank you, Doctor. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
And thank you for being with us on Kantipur Television on News Talk.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much.